Peace, everybody. Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and I'm coming at you with a quick counter. Today, we're going to be talking about this evening's Bellator Dynamite. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Dynamite series, let's take it back to the early 2000s, where they had Pride Fighting Championships and K1 Kickboxing doing a similar joint card. It was very big back in Japan. Very popular, and now Bellator is bringing it to the United States. This is going to be the first time that a major promotion is doing this. They haven't really advertised the kickboxing element of this card, so there'll probably be some showcase fights. They say Paul Daly, who is a MMA veteran, is making his kickboxing debut, so that's something that you're going to want to watch. But the main focus of this card is going to be light heavyweight showcase, which they have a 4-man tournament to determine the number one contender for the Bellator 205 title that is currently held by McGeary. And also, you get a title fight between McGeary and Tito Ortiz. Now, most people know Tito Ortiz from his UFC fame, and this is going to be his first title shot outside of the organization. Tito's been in Bellator with Alexander Shlemenko, who was the middleweight champ, and he's been in with Stephan Bonnar, another UFC contender. So this is going to be his biggest fight so far in Bellator, prestige-wise. Both of those other fights were big as far as ratings, but this one is going to be for the actual strap. So that's going to be his biggest fight. Let's break down the light heavyweight tournament that they have. Involved in this tournament, we have Muhammad King Mo Lawal. You have Phil Davis, who's just come over from the UFC. You have Emmanuel Newton, who is the former Bellator light heavyweight champ, dethroned by McGeary. Then you have Linton Vassell. Now, of these four guys, the real dark horse of this tournament, I would say, is Phil Davis, because while he has taken on some of the top fighters in the UFC, we haven't seen him against any of these guys in Bellator. And the guys that are in Bellator are very, very unorthodox. You got Emmanuel Newton, who he's fighting first. Very unorthodox striker, tremendous cardio, very well-rounded fighter. But he has not faced anybody the caliber of Phil Davis either. Probably the best person he fought was King Mo. Now, as far as King Mo, he beat him twice. He's also beaten not Liam McGeary. He's beaten Linton Vassell. So he does kind of have the edge and experience over the fighters in the tournament because he's beaten two of them already. In the first fight, he's going against Phil Davis. This is going to be a very interesting fight because, like I said, he's a very unorthodox guy, very well-rounded, great jiu-jitsu, strikes at all angles, constantly moving, against Davis, who's also a well-rounded fighter, but primarily a wrestler. And if you know anything, wrestlers give people trouble. So if Davis can mix up his attacks and get Newton to the ground, this could be an interesting fight. Also, I believe the fights are going to be only 2 rounds because they have to fight twice in that night. That's going to bring another element too. You have to work fast. So in this fight, it's hard to make a pick, but I think Phil Davis is going to show his pedigree in this one and be able to grind out a decision. Next up, we have Linton Vassell versus King Mo. Vassell is a very, very tall fighter, especially compared to King Mo. Very decent striker, has some good ground game. But just like with Davis and Newton, the wrestling is going to be the X factor. Mo is a very, very seasoned and accomplished wrestler, and has translated very well into the MMA world. If he can keep taking Vassell down, especially in a 2-round fight, he can pull out the victory. So if Lawal and Davis win, that sets them up to meet in the finals in a matchup of two very seasoned wrestlers. And my pick here, I think I'm going to go with Davis because Mo kind of has a hard time showing up in the biggest fights. He did win the light heavyweight title in Strikeforce, but he did lose it pretty promptly, and he's also lost some of his other big fights, namely to Newton and to Quentin Jackson, even though that one was pretty controversial. A lot of people felt he did win that fight, even though he did get pretty lumped up. So that is the light heavyweight tournament. So it's looking like Phil Davis, from my predictions, is going to be the one to challenge the winner of Tito Ortiz versus Liam McGeary. Now in this fight, we have a very tall, very powerful fighter in Liam McGeary going against a guy who has seen it all in MMA in Tito Ortiz. Now, has seeing it all taken all of it out of him, or is he just seasoned enough to where he can really take this title from McGeary? My guess is going to be no. McGeary is going to be very long, very strong, brings a lot of power, very well rounded. As if you've seen his fight with Emmanuel Newton, you have to be well rounded. You have to have a great gas tank, and you have to mix it up in order to beat somebody like Emmanuel Newton. And he did it, I wouldn't say easily, but he won a vast majority of the rounds. I think it was like maybe 4 rounds to 1. That experience plus the skill will be enough to overcome Ortiz. Ortiz, similar to, I would say, Shane Mosley at this time. This guy, he's going to look awesome in the gym. He stays in pretty good shape. But when you get in there with those young bucks, that's when that age starts to show. And Tito is up there in age. So there you have it. The Bellator light heavyweight picture will end up with Phil Davis versus Liam McGeary in the next light heavyweight fight. There's going to be some great kickboxing. If you aren't familiar with Glory Kickboxing or the difference between kickboxing and Muay Thai kickboxing, there'll be no elbows. Clinches are only for about 5 seconds before they break them. So it's going to be very, very fast-paced action, and you're going to love it. Kickboxing does have the highest knockout ratio of all the combat sports. So look for some hard hitters, some great finishes, and a great card all together from Bellator and Glory. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure you click the like button. Share it with your friends. Get it out there fast because this card is about to come on shortly. You can hit us up on Facebook, CapitalofCombat, Google+, Instagram, all the same name. Email, CapitalofCombat@gmail.com. Hit us up. You got any questions, leave a comment down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.